Magical Makers. In this lesson, we're going to learn how we can power a more powerful speaker through your CircuitPlayground board using only a single USB cable and power source for both the CircuitPlayground and the speaker. I'm Professor Gallaugher, and I say let the quest begin for more big learning. So in an earlier version of this course, I handed out these Hamburger speakers to my students. They were decently loud, and they were easy to attach to a CircuitPlayground or Pico. Just use 2 alligator clips or a breadboard-friendly stereo jack. But the problem with this approach is that the Hamburger speaker requires its own USB cord if you're going to leave it on permanently. So in order to simplify power management, this semester I switched my class to a speaker and amp that can be easily powered by a CircuitPlayground board, and the same setup can also be used with a Raspberry Pi Pico. Just use a JST connector with pins instead of alligator clips. Those are the 2 boards I use in my course, but the same setup works for other boards too. Let me show you how to set this up. Now the speaker that each student got was this one. It's a mono-enclosed speaker, 3 watt 4 ohm. Now I tested a bunch of these speakers before choosing this one.
Code or code not. There is no try.
These speakers are decently loud, they have mounting tabs on the side, which is great for projects, they're not too big, and they weren't too expensive. You'll see similar versions available from lots of different vendors. The ones I bought were from Adafruit. Now this version has a 2-wire JST-PH connector at the end, so I also bought an opposite connector and this amp. The Adafruit Stem Audio Amp Mono 2.5 watt Class D, that's the PAM 8302 version. The amp is great because it's got a 3-wire JST connection at the other end, and you can use that to connect it to your board. So just strip the wires from the opposite JST 2-wire connector, screw the red into the plus terminal, the black into the minus terminal. Then you can plug the 2-wire JST from your speaker into this opposite end that you just wired up to your amp. Now there are a lot of types of JST connectors. These little 2-wire connectors in the speaker are called JST-PH 2mm 2-pin connectors, but on the other end of the amp, there's another JST connector. This is a JST-PH 2mm 3-pin connector. And what's nice about this is you can get a connection with 3 alligator clips on it to connect to a CircuitPlayground, or 3 pins at the other end that you can connect into a breadboard, and that's what I use with the Raspberry Pi Pico. And since I'm using a CircuitPlayground Bluefruit, I'm going to plug the JST 3-wire connector with alligator clips on the other end into my amp. And for wiring to the CircuitPlayground, black is ground and goes to any of the ground pins on the CPB. The white wire here is signal on the CPB. Since this is a speaker signal, it should go to the audio pad. And in this 3-wire setup, the middle wire is red. That's always power. And on the CPB, you can clip that to V out. Now the great thing about this is it requires no changes in your code, so my CPB is now running the code from the prior lesson, the wave_buttons code. If you don't have that code, see the prior lesson. When I press button A, Bruce Dickerson is thrilled because I got more cowbell. When I press button B, I'm scratching. So rock out Pythonista with this new speaker. I think this setup is much better than the other version, but if you want to use a louder speaker that's powered through its own power source and it has a standard audio jack, you can check out the lessons on how to clip that to a board or use a breadboard mounted stereo jack. Now use this newfound skill to make something awesome.